Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is the first in a 4-part new car detail series featuring this Tesla Model Y. We got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. My buckets are already set up, so I'm going to start by adding some P&S Brake Buster to my wheel bucket. Brake Buster is a dedicated wheel cleaner, and it's one of my favorite products to use too. It works well, and it's not too expensive. You can also dilute it, so a little bit can really go a long way. The next thing I'm going to do is add some Obsessed Garage Decontamination soap to my wash bucket. Decon soaps are designed to remove waxes and oils from the paint, so it's not the kind of soap you would want to use for regular washes. In this case, we're going to be getting the car ready for polishing, so stripping any wax that came from the factory is something we definitely want to do. Now that we've got the buckets ready, I'm going to get started with rinsing off the car. Since most scratches and swirls are caused by washing and drying, we want to remove as much loose dirt as possible before we start touching the paint with the wash mitt. Since the wheels are usually some of the dirtiest parts on a car, I'm going to start by washing those first. To make the cleaning a little easier, I've got some more P&S Brake Buster diluted 1:1 in my Merrill-X foamer. After applying, I'm going to scrub it onto the tires and use some of my other brushes to clean the inner barrels and other parts of the wheel. If you want to know more about the products and process I use, I've added a link in the description below to a video I did a couple months ago on my end-to-end wheel cleaning process. Now that the wheels are done, we're going to move on with foaming the car. I've got about 4 ounces of the Obsessed Garage Decontamination soap added to the bottle of my foam cannon. I'm going to fill it up about halfway with water, and then I'm going to give the bottle a good shake to make sure the soap and water are mixed. Applying the foam is one of my favorite parts of the wash. The goal here is to get a thick coat on the paint. Since the Decon soap we're using has a high pH, it will help to break down any waxes or oils that may be on the paint surface. It'll also add some lubrication that will help prevent scratching the paint when we start using our wash mitt. After letting the foam sit for a couple minutes, I'm going to use my Detail Factory detail brush to work the soap into the spots I won't be able to clean with my wash mitt. As you can see here, this is a great way to remove dirt from around the badges and emblems. The next step is to work around the car with my wash mitt. One of my favorite mitts is the Cyclone wash mitt from the Rag Company. I'm not sponsored by the Rag Company, but I really do like their stuff. They have a huge selection of products, and with most of their microfiber, they use a premium blend of polyester and polyamide that is safer for your car's paint. If you want to check out some of their products for yourself, I've added some links in the description below. Now, if you've never seen a Tesla Model Y before, one of the coolest parts about these cars is the roof. It's made entirely out of glass. The glass has a super dark tint, so it's barely noticeable even on a bright sunny day, and then after the sun goes down, you get an awesome view of the nighttime sky. With the washing done, we're going to give the car another rinse to remove any remaining soap residue and get the car ready for the next step in the decon process. As we continue with the decontamination, the next step is to use an iron remover. I typically use CarPro Iron X, but there are a number of different options out there. Since this is a brand new car, I don't expect there to be much contamination on the paint, but we still want to follow the process to ensure any lingering contaminants don't interfere and give us trouble when we start polishing. Using this stuff is pretty simple. Just spray it on, let it sit for about a minute, and then rinse it off. This product is pretty nasty, so it's not something you should let dry on the paint surface. So, if it's hot outside, or if you're working in direct sunlight like I am, I would suggest working around the car in sections. Oh, and one more thing. This stuff smells horrible, so I would definitely recommend doing this outside or in an area where you have plenty of ventilation. The next step is going over the car with Automotive Clay to remove any bonding contaminants from the paint surface. The product I'm using here is the NanoSkin Auto Scrub Sponge. There are a number of different products out there, and you should be able to find something similar at your local auto parts store. One thing about Automotive Clay, it is abrasive and it will mar the paint surface when you use it. To reduce the amount of marring, I have Optimum No Rinse diluted 64:1 in my Merrill-X pump sprayer. Now that we've finished the decontamination process, I'm going to give the car one final rinse to remove any remaining residue. We're now going to get the car dried off and ready for polishing. Since we've removed any waxes that were applied, drying the car is going to be a rather lengthy process. I'm going to tackle this in 2 steps. For the first step, I'm going to go over the car with a microfiber drying towel. Before we start polishing, we want to make sure the car is completely dry, so for the second step, I'm going to be following it up with a leaf blower to help remove any water from the cracks and along the panel edges. And, just in case you were wondering, the towel I'm using here is the Liquidator, which is another great product you can pick up from the rag company. One last thing I would suggest if you're doing this at home is to pop the trunk, or the frunk in this case, and dry along the inside edges. You'll notice that water gets trapped in these areas, and it always has a tendency to drain out at the most inconvenient times. And with that, we're just about done. In just a second here, I'm going to bring you in a little closer and show you how it looks. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how this car turned out. Being brand new, this car wasn't too dirty to begin with, but we still needed to go through the motions since we're going to be applying a ceramic coating later on. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up and consider subscribing so you don't miss out on the next video where I'm going to be polishing the paint and correcting out some scratches and other defects from the factory. Until next time, this is Ryan with Allison Detailing. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.